Hey, you guys, it's me, Mr. Beavers. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get started, and this is going to be all right. Lesson one. All right, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. Right now, we're talking about exponents and bases. So, if I was to say that I have 7 to the 6th power, or on the computer, it will look like 7 and a caret 6. What this is saying is that my base is 7 and my exponent is 6. Now, you can also hear me say exponent, or you'll hear me say 7 raised to the 6th power. All right? So, exponent and power mean the exact same thing. Another way to represent this would be saying 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. I took the base number 7 and I multiplied it 6 times. That's what this is telling me to do. Let me get a second. All right, so if I move on to my lesson examples, all right, so number one says 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. Now what I'm not looking for a value here. I'm looking for a mathematical expression that is using a base and an exponent, all right? And we're going to call this an exponential notation. We're going to put this in exponential notation. So the first thing is that I have to identify what is my base number. In this problem, my base number is 5, all right? And now once you identify what your base number is, now you have to see how many times you're going to multiply your base number. So I'm going to change the color so we can identify it. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means that I'm taking this base number and I'm going to raise it to the 5th power. So I got 5 raised to the 5th power. All right, let's do number 2. -5 times -5 times -5 times -5 times -5. So once again, same type of situation. I need to identify the base, and in this situation, the base is going to be -5, and then I need to figure out how many times am I going to multiply this base. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my answer is -5 raised to the 5th power. And what I want you guys to notice is that I kept my answers in parentheses. I kept my negative base in parentheses. With these type of problems, whenever you guys are working with negative numbers or fractions, all right, I want you to keep your answers in parentheses. All right, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 says that I have 3/4 times 3/4 times 3/4. Once again, as you guys can see, my answers are, excuse me. Once again, you can see my base. My base is a fraction, so the base is going to be in parentheses. So I got 3/4. And then how many times am I multiplying this base? 1, 2, 3. This is my answer. All right. So I'm going to move down. Why can't I move down? Oh, there we go. Bad, y'all. Still trying to figure this out. All right, so our next examples that I want to do is, this says rewrite each number in exponential notation using 3 as the base. All right, so if I had 9, we all know that 9 is also saying 3 times 3. So another way that I can write the value of 9 is by saying 3 to the second power, because it takes 2 3's being multiplied together to equal 9. So if I was to do 27, I know 3 times, sorry you guys, I want to get away from the X. I know 3 times 3 is 9. If I take another 3 and multiply that, 3 times 3 is 9. Times another 3 will give me that 27. All right. So in this case, I got 3 to the third, because it will take for the base to be multiplied 3 times to get to 27. And then the next one I have is 81. So if I was to take 3 times 3, that will give me 9. And if I know times 3 times 3, this will give me 9. 9 times 9 equals 81. So it will take the base being multiplied 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 times. Are there any questions over that? Next, I want to go over the way that you guys are going to see the math being presented to you with Eureka. So the way Eureka does it, you guys will see something like, let's just say if it says -5 times ... -5, and then underneath it it'll have like a long bracket, and then it'll say 7 times. What Eureka is doing is basically saying we don't want to write -5 7 times. So they're saying that it's continuous. So what we have to do is know that they're saying that our base in this problem is -5. I'm going to write it under. They're saying that our base in this problem is -5, and that is being multiplied 7 times. So if I was to do another one, if I said 6 . times dot times 6. And if I was to say all of this is 37 times, then basically this is saying that my answer is going to be 6 raised to the 37th power. All right, so as we continue, there's one more thing. Man, y'all, I don't know. There we go. I don't know how to get this thing up here. There's one more thing that we have to do, and then we will be done. The last thing that we have to do is, if I was to say that I had a -2 times -2 times -2, what would that equal, right? So you guys would be like, oh, Mr. Beavers, the base is -2. You're correct. And then you'll be like, oh, Mr. Beavers, there's 1, 2, 3. There's -2 is being multiplied 3 times, so my answer is -2 to the 3rd power. You are absolutely correct. But let's take it a step further. Will this answer be negative or a positive answer? All right, so that's what I want us to think. Will this answer be negative or positive? So let's go back to our rules of multiplying when we have a negative number. A negative times a negative will always be positive. I want everybody writing this down. This is extremely important. A positive times, actually, hold on. Yeah, I'm going to change this up. I'm going to say a negative times a negative will equal a negative times here we go. A negative times a negative will equal a positive. A negative times a positive will equal a negative, and positive times positive will equal positive. So when we look at this problem, I want us to really dive deep into this right quick. If we look at this problem, we can see that we have a negative times a negative. So automatically, when we have, I'll come down here and I'll write it. If I have a negative times a negative, this becomes a positive number, right? We don't have to know what the number is. It's just that it's going to be positive because we know from the rule a negative times a negative equals a positive. But I still got one more negative over here. So if I take this and multiply it by a negative, my answer will be negative. My answer will be negative because these two right here, these two right here created a positive situation. But there was 3 numbers here, so I still have to multiply. And when I multiply, I'm multiplying with a negative, so my answer will be negative. I'm not asking for the value of it. I just want to know, will this be positive or will this be negative? That's all I wanted to know. And so this answer will be negative. So keeping along this idea, I want to keep this up so you can see it. If I was to say -6 raised to the 4th power, if I was to say -6 raised to the 4th power, what I'm saying is -6 times negative 6 times negative 6 times negative 6. I want to know, is this answer positive or is this answer negative? The way that you figure that out is that you combine the signs. So for this, I have a negative and I have a negative. A negative and a negative make a positive. Over here, I also have a negative and a negative. This makes a positive. So I'm left with a positive times a positive, and my answer will be positive. All right. On your own, I want you to get out a piece of paper, and I want you to write I want you guys to write negative 5 raised to the second power. And tell me if this answer is going to be positive or negative. I want you to do negative 5 raised to the third power. Is this answer going to be positive or negative? And then I want you to do negative 5 to the fourth power. Positive or negative? And negative 5 to the fifth power. Positive or negative? All right, once you do that, you should notice a pattern. Tell me what that pattern is once you notice it. All right, you guys, that's all for your notes today.